Guys, good Tuesday morning. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk here on the I Love CVille Network. Real Talk with Keith Smith on the I Love CVille Network, presented by Yes Realty Partners and Keller Williams Alliance.
I love Tuesdays.
Real Talk with Keith Smith is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO, Showtime. Real Talk with Keith Smith. Literally one of my favorite shows. A lot we're going to cover on this program. We'll talk
eyeglasses, apparently.
7 to 10 properties in the city of Charlottesville with the most potential and upside. We'll talk eyeglasses. We'll talk zoning. We'll see who has a better vision, Judah or Keith. Liza getting a new bag of treats.
Yeah, we got
and some tomfoolery. Some shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Let's get that two-shot on.
Shenanigans. Were we buying more toys? Did I bring more toys in? That was fun on Friday.
Oh, dude, that show was fantastic.
Had a lot of people call me on that.
Sasha was dynamite.
Sasha was dynamite.
Quentin was dynamite.
Quentin was dynamite.
We love you, QB. I think he's in Austin right now.
He is in Austin, enjoying Austin.
On a Keller Williams Mastermind, right? Is that what it is?
It's a Keller Williams event. I'm supposed to know what the title is. I believe yeah, I'm supposed to know that, yeah. All right. For those who actually watch and listen to the show on regular, does that surprise anybody that I'm actually supposed to know something?
Well, what does not surprise people is your likability, your charisma, and your charm.
Really? There you go. And apparently yesterday I found out I'm moving. So,
Dude, she's holding you to that.
Literally, I sent you a text, but it wasn't a joke.
Was that really true?
She had a listing.
You should say what happened.
She had Yonna had a listing agreement.
Yonna's been wanting to sell their the Smith abode for a significant period of time.
Several years, yeah.
Smith over here is the sentimentalist.
I'm a little reluctant. Yeah.
He's the sentimentalist over here. He agreed on yesterday's program. Oh, it's funny how the microphones and the lights get you to do stuff.
But I have my fingers crossed, so it doesn't really count.
He gets back to the office at the thriving Yes Realty Partners, and there was a listing agreement on the desk. Now he's trying on Judah's glasses. Those look great on you. Go on a one-shot.
Judah, I can't even see the writing here.
Yonna, what do you think of Keith's glasses there?
You're not supposed to see the writing. Those are for seeing far away.
Oh, okay. So mine is...
That's why I wear them on the edge of my nose whenever I'm on screen.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
So the question is which makes me...
They both look good. Yeah. Rotate them. You can rotate the glasses. When you're getting glasses, support local. John Bright's, the Spectacle Shop.
Totally. Right next door.
You go there.
I do.
They're, they got some challenges on the horizon. You're going to give them back to Judah?
I think we're done with the glasses.
Okay. With Warby Parker opening in Barracks Road. So please support
local folks, please.
John Bright in the Spectacle Shop.
Please.
Kevin Yancey's jumping in and says, I got a house for you. Keith Smith in Waynesboro.
Yeah, Kevin is part of my problem here, Kevin. But no, thank you for sharing. That's great. You know, as I said on the show yesterday, that the main holdback for me is my parents, and finding the right place that they can come with us. We're only 3 miles away, and we see each other regularly, and, it's going to be important. Actually, not only is my parents 3 miles away, one of my brothers is only lives a half a mile away from me.
Matthew,
yeah. So
Matthew.
So I've got...
Feel like I know the Smiths.
Yeah. And you didn't twitch when you said that. Look at that.
I feel like I know the Smiths.
Most people do when they say the word Smith.
No.
So look, I just was following up on a post that you did a couple of days ago about the... just trying to think how we kick today's show off a little bit. On the, you had 7 properties that are, let's call it underutilized, right?
Yeah. I was trying to choose wording that was positive. When I said the 7, and this is on ilovecville.com, we're going to highlight it on Real Talk with Keith Smith. The 7 properties in the city of Charlottesville, Virginia, with the most potential.
Only
upside.
The 2 of us really know.
I know, but it gets you laughing every time. The city of Charlottesville with the most potential and upside. So I try to use positive wording there, Keith.
Yeah, you did. It forced me to re-look at the FLUM, Future Land Use Map.
Yeah.
Look at that. Smith
Flim,
got
flam,
it.
flum.
FLUM. I just can't say
You hate that acronym.
I hate it.
You hate that acronym.
Somebody should have hired
a branding expert.
A branding expert to come up with FLUM. So there you go. You are the branding expert. What would you have called that? Put you on the spot.
Oh, that's a hell of a put me on the spot right there.
Sure. I'm just drinking coffee.
Improved quality of life in Charlottesville. Housing potential for all.
How about the land use map?
land use map.
That's exactly what it is.
Would that have been Lum?
Yeah.
Lum.
Lum. Yeah. Lum, flum. Yeah.
Oh, God.
We're going to stay out of this one.
Let's stay out of this one. So the 7 properties, why don't I rattle off the 7 properties and pass
Sure.
the microphone to you?
Sure.
The 7 properties in the city of Charlottesville, Virginia with the most potential and upside. This is on ilovecville.com right now. Number 1, X Park.
Yep.
$84 million.
Yep.
X Park, 17 and a half acres, 4.8 million an acre.
Yep.
Number 2, the West Main Street parking lot.
So we got to add a little context to that.
Please.
So location context for those maybe listening instead of watching. That's where the Amtrak.
Ray Cadell's listening on the road.
Hey Ray, thanks buddy.
He's on the road listening, he said.
Is he on the road to sell something or on the road to play a little bit of music?
Yeah, Ray, are you
Well, he's driving, so we don't
on the
wanna-
road to a resort as the best horn player in the East Coast?
I
Or are
was-
you on the road to sell something as one of the best brokers on the East Coast?
There you go. So that is the Amtrak, right? We're talking about the same parcel. That's the Amtrak station.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
Got
parking lot there, owned by Alan Kajin.
it. That's exactly right.
The additional ones, Wright's Junkyard, Harry Wright's Junkyard, back there behind Beer Run, Woolen Mills and Hogwaller, Wright's Junkyard. That is a potential gold mine. Number 4, the City Yard, where Charlottesville, many of its public works, vehicles and infrastructure are stored at the City Yard. Number 5, Kim's Market. Chris Kabash, friend of the program, that's under contract. Kim's Market.
It's under. I just actually looked at it this morning, and I texted him. He didn't respond back. It's under market. It's on the market, but I got a feeling their study period is it may be back. It may be coming back on. I can't confirm that. I can't confirm. I can't deny or confirm that. Whatever.
Maybe yes, maybe no yes.
There you go. I'm much better at that. Maybe yes, maybe no yes. But that may be coming back on the market.
He highlighted to me that it was under study.
Correct. So it's under study period, right?
We should educate everybody under study.
So why don't I make a note of that? We'll finish the list,
Yeah.
and then we'll talk about that because that's an important thing to talk about. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the flum map on my phone so I can expand it and look at sections.
Sure,
Really,
sure.
really hard to do that.
So 1, X Park, 2, West Main Street parking lot, the parking lot next to the Amtrak station that's owned by Alan Kajin. X Park, interestingly, is also co-owned by Alan Kajin, the attorney that lives a bi-coastal lifestyle, San Francisco, Charlottesville. He's co-owners of X Park, which is number 1 with Ludwig Kutner. Ludwig owns a massive amount of commercial real estate in Charlottesville. 2, West Main Street parking lot. 3, Wright's Junkyard, family-owned property owned by the Wrights. 4, the City Yard, owned by the city of Charlottesville, Virginia. 5, Kim's Market, owned by a divorcee. She's been trying to sell this property for an extended period of time. Chris Kabash has gotten to the bottom of the 9th inning a number of times, but hasn't quite crossed the goal line for a number of reasons. 6, the Staples parking lot,
That's interesting.
Old Vinegar Hill. I mean, home to an African-American business and residential district that was destroyed by local government and the idea of urban renewal.
In prepping for that, that's a parcel you drive by so often and you just never see it.
That's what I'm saying.
You'd never see it.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting parcel.
And then the last one is the Dewberry Hotel, owned by the extorting emperor of empty lots, Johnny Dewberry himself. Grew up in Waynesboro, one-time quarterback for the Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech. Now the extorting emperor of empty lots in Atlanta, Georgia, the Dewberry Hotel.
So thank you for doing that. I just wanted to make sure I got the map so I can expand it a little bit because the colors kind of change pretty rapidly, from street to street and section to section to make it go ahead and get it. But to go back to the conversation about a study period, right? So, what projects like this, these commercial purchases or these land purchases, there's usually a study period. So the asking price on that is I can't remember the number. I think it's 3.5, something along those
Kim's
lines.
Market?
I believe it's 3.5 million.
Okay, I'll take a look.
I may be wrong on that end of it. So what normally happens is what we're going to do is Jerry and I are going to put a contract in on it. We'll say, we'll pay you X amount of dollars, but I need to go through a study period. And what that means is I need to see, I need to do my soil analysis, I need to do environmental, I need to go ahead and find out where the utilities are. I have to do all the due diligence end of it. And also, part of the conversation would be, look, I'll pay you X amount of dollars for it, but I need to be able to do Y with it, right? I need to go through the city process to go ahead and do it. And that's kind of why this rewrite that they're doing, or creating these new zoning ordinances and this future land use map, is very important, because you have to take a look at where that parcel is going to be, and then take a look, is it in general residential, and I'm just reading off of the future land map, is it general residential sensitive community area, is it medium intensity, is it higher intensity residential, on that end of it. And there's all these different mixed use nodes and corridors, and it's a pretty a colorful map on that end of it. So there's an eighth piece of property.
Okay.
That
I like it.
That we didn't talk about that, and I gave you some information on that over there. But there is a 6-acre parcel, which is the mobile home park down off of Carlton Avenue. So those who are familiar with that part of town, it's over by Woolen Mills area, Nassau Street, and all that stuff. But that is what I was doing, I was looking, okay, where are the substantially large single acreage parcels?
What's the price point of this bad boy? 1,500 Carlton Ave.
So we don't know, because it's not on the market, right? So this is not for sale. This is not available, much like the Drewberry Hotel. It's not for sale. It's there, but what we're trying to do is an analysis.
Sunshine Court LLC, the owner.
Correct. So that's a public record. But that's just to talk a little bit about how this process is going to work. So that is in the high intensity residential. I'm going to read it. Provide opportunities for higher density, multifamily, focused development, intensive affordability, and increase intensity to meet affordable housing goals. So that's the vision, right? So we talk about this all the time. The comprehensive plan, all this stuff is very visionary on that. What has to happen now, so it's currently R3.
Okay.
So R3, again, is a multifamily zoning, and I got all the zoning here, and not to bore folks with the particulars of it. But as I was spending time on this morning, going through this, and those who are listening and watching know that Mr. Williamson and I have a bit of a bet about my mustache. And I'm still convinced that this is going to take a lot longer than everybody thinks it's going.
I mean, Neil Williamson, he thinks he's going to win the bet now. I'm going to tag Neil and say that. Can I say that?
You can say that, and we'll talk about it on Friday when he's here.
He's going to be here.
But look, so
he's going to shave his stash on set, boys and girls.
Boys and girls, and
if he loses.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if Williamson loses?
Who knows? I guess he's got to shave off his mustache.
He's got a goatee.
And his goatee. But look, zoning, just a little 101, right? Zoning is what one can do and what cannot do with the property. And there's all kinds of things that are connected to the zoning ordinance. You have, districts and uses. So in other words, what uses can you use on this piece of property, right? Like, so in Albemarle County, A1 is agricultural, right? You can do agricultural uses plus residential. Then the big elephant in the room is the development standards, right? That's going to take a ton of time to go through it. How many stories it can be? What's the parking? Is it in a architectural review board corridor, right? If so, what are those rules, right? These development standards are multiple pages long that have to be flushed out. And then how is this going to be administered? How are they actually going to do this? And then there's a second part of it is the whole erosion and control and all that kind of great stuff. But that's post-zoning. The reason why I honestly believe that this is going to take a lot longer than that if you take a look at the timeline that they are advertising on this part of it, right now we're in the winter and spring 2022. The overview of the zoning. So they're actually reviewing all the stuff that we're talking about. So somewhere in the fall, the spring and fall, they're going to draft it. And I know this in conversations, they're not even close to being drafted yet. And I think we're in the spring.
Yeah, we are in the spring.
Pretty sure we're in the spring.
You got that right.
We're going to do that. But the process on this is very similar to a rezoning. So it has to go in. There's going to be 2 series of public hearings, and folks need to understand this. There's going to be a series of public hearings at the Planning Commission level, right? And there's no way, in my humble opinion, that, and I've been doing this long enough to know this, that whoever they are, going to create all this ordinance and all this language and all this stuff, and it's going to go through in one public hearing. I'm confident that between what the public has to say and the input that has to say at that point in time, there's probably going to be another hearing, which means there's a rewrite and there's more time. So there's going to probably be at least 2 public hearings to 3 public hearings, both sides. Am I getting too in the weeds?
No, keep going.
So I just don't see this happening. In reality, it has to happen in order for me to lose or win this bet is in late May, because that's the last public meeting before July 1st. And somebody can look up the calendar and find out what the calendar's typically, but there's 2 meetings per month, right? There's one in the beginning of the month and one in the back of the month. I think it's the third week of the month. So we're going to know by the 3rd week of the month that if this is going to happen by June 1, 2023.
So talk to us about Carlton Avenue. Talk to us about the trailer park, 1500 Carlton Avenue.
Yeah.
Dude, we're talking 6.46 acres in the city of Charlottesville.
So
that's a lot.
So first and foremost, and we're just spitballing here, right? I could see something similar to what Habitat has done out in Albemarle County. Come on, help me out.
Fifth Street Station?
No. What's the name of the subdivision?
Southwood?
Southwood. Thank you very much. The Southwood.
Down
right.
Fifth Street?
Down Fifth Street. So there's going to have to be some sort of mixed use, mixed development, very similar to what's happening in Friendship Court. So the folks that we're not displacing, or the developers not displacing the folks that live there, right? They're doing a great job in providing housing and phasing in the construction. The point I'm trying to make is we can't have a debate about it because we don't know what the design standards are going to be for that, right? So if you have so much affordable units, do you get more density, right? Can you go higher if you're doing X, Y, and Z? We don't know any of this stuff yet. I do know it's a large parcel. It's 6 acres. Which means you can do quite a bit with
Centrally located.
Centrally located on that end of it.
In an area where land is few and far between.
Well, there's also projects that potentially could be similar to it nearby. So there's a couple of affordable housing projects that are on Carlton Avenue. Carlton View is the name of them. There's View 1 and Carlton View 2 on that end of it. But, clearly when the map was put together, that was the intent on it. The point is we don't know what the requirements are to go ahead and do that. And the purpose of us having this conversation, from my perspective, is people need to get involved during this process and get your voice heard on that end of it. One of the things I've been thinking about for the show is like tune in, ask questions, and get involved, right? So this is something that we're trying to, I think, do here on that end of it. So on the question stuff, Smith's been babbling enough. Do we get anybody?
Oh, we do. So folks want to know, folks want to talk Fitzgerald Tire.
Yeah, sure.
We made it go viral yesterday. Did you see that?
I did.
We'll get to the comments, guys, on Carlton Avenue, Sunshine Court. Fitzgerald Tire is the talk of the town right now.
Sure.
I'll get out of your way. I'll give some specs.
Sure.
And then get out of your way. Fitzgerald Tire in Belmont, downtown Belmont specifically.
Sure.
Asking price of $1,200,000. Recently on the market. The building is 1,078 square feet.
Yep.
We're talking a price per square of $1,113 per square. Building was built in 1945. 5 parking spaces on site. Fitzgerald Tire is zoned neighborhood commercial corridor. It's one of the most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville.
Without doubt.
We will put a story on ilivecville.com later today on the most iconic buildings in the city of Charlottesville. This has tremendous potential, and the business is included. Keith Smith,
Got it.
show's yours. Fitzgerald Tire.
So that's important to get out there because it wasn't what was not in the post on that end of it is this 1.2 million is not just real property, right? It's just not the dirt in the building. It's the actual business, right? So the question becomes, much like the study period conversation we have on that end of it, is the business making money? So
I think it's safe to say someone's not going to spend $1.2 million or close thereof.
we don't know that.
And continue running it as a tire shop.
We don't know that, right? I mean,
Common sense would tell us that.
well, but we want to stick to the facts at the
Yeah,
moment. So,
sure.
So it's the dirt, it's the building, it's the equipment,
Some tires.
it's the inventory,
Yeah.
and it's their book of business, right? Their clients, right? So I'm assuming if somebody, the way these this is a commercial transaction, by the way. This is not a residential transaction, which goes back to this study period end of it. So if Jerry turns around and says, look, I want to buy this business and I want to buy that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a letter of intent with a non-disclosure.
LOI.
Thank you. A non-disclosure agreement, and we're going to start saying, hey, let me take a look at your books and see what your profitability is. It may be worth it from that perspective. The point is this is much more than dirt. Now, will it become another Moss or something like that?
I think if I was a betting man, I like to bet.
Yeah, apparently I bet my mustache.
I see this. Michael Buchensky, we'll get to
Yeah.
you. I can't imagine the business cash flow. Well, we'll get to that comment, Michael Buchensky, here in a matter of moments.
But we don't know that. That's the point I'm just trying to make at this point. It may.
Kevin Yancey, we'll get to your comments here. So there's a lot of comments here on
So
Fitzgerald.
maybe, and I'm just throwing maybes out here. Maybe there's a national chain. Who knows that wants to buy it? I don't know.
I see. Are you speaking from a position of knowledge there?
No.
Are you shooting at the hip?
Maybe yes, maybe no. Yes.
Okay. Are you shooting at the hip, or are you?
Maybe yes, maybe no. Yes.
Okay.
Don't get me into trouble.
Okay.
Mr.
I
Miller.
won't get you. I won't get you into trouble.
But the reality of it is, look.
Restaurant brewery.
Yeah. Look, if you and I after the show sat down and said, look, this looks like a great opportunity. Let's do something with this. My business model would be something similar to
Restaurant brewery. Yeah. Rooftop
thing.
Rooftop bar.
A little bit of outdoor seating, yada, yada, yada.
This is the question I have for you. Kevin Yancey, Michael Puchinsky, you're on deck. We're coming to you guys. We're coming to you
I want
quick
to
and
make it
fast.
clear, though, somebody could buy the business, right? There's value there to the business, and it may be, we just don't know.
Buchinsky says this. Michael Buchinsky is a smart businessman. He's a hell of a basketball coach. All-around likable guy, Michael Buchinsky.
There you go.
It's business cash flow. If the business cash flow surpasses the new commercial loan payments, then it's a solid deal.
I would agree with that. And that's so, thank you, Michael, for putting that out there. So it could very well be that. It could be, a rock star of a cash flow analysis, and it might work. But you won't know that until you put a LOI. All this is just subjective at this point.
Kevin Yancey says it's a used tire shop with a few new tire sales.
Yeah.
So he's highlighting that a business like this is only going to do so much revenue.
Yeah.
He did that in very kind words there. It's a used tire shop with a few new tire sales.
So what we're doing here is we're navigating this pretty delicately, which I need to do on this end of it. The point I'm just trying to make is that
the business is also for sale.
The business is also for sale. There's a possibility that there's a cash flow positive on this, and there's a possibility that it's a home run business idea to sell used tires in downtown Belmont. That's in an iconic building on that end of it.
You said it straight faced. I respect that.
Well, but I believe it actually.
But
if we had
Magic wands, we do. Imagine that.
we had magic wands, right? And I didn't have a license, and I didn't have all this stuff, and you and I want to sit down and look at this as a business opportunity, my wheels would be turning for some. I didn't even know enough about breweries as far as size go, but I sure as hell know that
Let me put it this way. Let me throw this to here. Here's an idea. We know a lot of people. Knowing people, influence, knowledge, help deals, facilitate deals, right? Three Notch Brewing Company, I'm just talking out loud. Three Notch Brewing Company, their flagship headquarters is X Park.
Yep.
X Park is for sale.
Yep.
If someone were to buy X,
Yeah, but they're not going to go downsize.
if someone were to buy X, well, remember, Three Notch Brewing Company already purchased Wild Wolf.
Correct.
So their new headquarters,
Yeah, so they can produce someplace else and bring it there.
their new headquarters is going to be 150 Fun in Nelson County.
Sure.
That's going to be their
Well,
epicenter.
they're
They're going to want to maintain a downtown Charlottesville presence.
yeah, sure.
Then you can cross-pollinate your headquarters in Nelson with the downtown Charlottesville presence. A tap room
Let's make it a Waffle House.
in Belmont
Yeah.
would be bona fide for a local beer brand like Three Notch with its soon-to-be new headquarters heading to Nelson County
Sure.
and outside the city.
Yeah.
What I'm intrigued about, Buchensky, I'm going to get to your comments. Yancey, I'm going to get to your comments. Grayson, I'm going to get to your comments. Jennifer, I'm going to get to your comments. Aaron King, welcome to the program. One of Western Albemarle's finest alum, the Queen of Scottsville, Aaron King. This is what I'm intrigued about. Could you do, with the zoning, NCC, Neighborhood Commercial Corridor, could you do restaurant on the first floor and studio apartments above it?
So I only printed out the residential zoning districts in the city of Charlottesville. So I did not print out all of that. So somebody's going.
Bill McChenzie, if you're watching. Kevin Yancey, if you're watching.
Somebody is going to have to do some quick searching to get into the Muni code and find out what it can be done in there. That being said, logically, since there are restaurants surrounding it, one would think
That's what I think.
One would think that it would be consistent in that. But who knows? The line could draw right around it. There's a...
You do restaurant, you take the parking lot and make it outside seating.
Yeah, totally.
Brewery, outside seating, small tap room.
Something on the second story.
Studio apartments on the second floor above it.
Well, there is no second floor. It's a one-story structure.
I mean, you'd have to create it.
Yeah, I would put outdoor seating. Personally, I'd put like a rooftop bar on there.
See, I like
That's what I would do.
restaurant on the first with the parking lot turning into outside seating and then studio apartments above it, because I think you could rent those studio apartments in Belmont for like $1,500 a pop. Maybe you got 6 studio apartments there. 6 studio apartments at $1,500 a pop. You're looking at what?
So you know who you need to tag? And
9G?
I think he's back from France now.
Chris Henry?
No, Wilson Ritchie.
Wilson Ritchie.
Yeah, you know, if anybody knows this market, it's and business model, it's Wilson Ritchie. Look, the reality of it is there's a potential business opportunities to that. I just didn't want to discount the fact that it still could stay a used tire store. I mean, the numbers could work. Somebody could want to walk in there and buy it and turn it into that. I think my developer brain, my recovering developer brain, business guy, your business guy, real estate guy, is looking at it at a different opportunity.
I'm just looking at covering the debt service payment out of the gate.
Well,
Michael Buchensky, if you're watching.
I'm not even looking at the numbers end of this stuff. I'm just looking at what the vision could be at that area and what would work and what wouldn't work. I mean, look, let's face it. On Friday night, Yonna and I went to Tavola, well, depends on what part of the world you are to pronounce it. But the reality of it is, we wanted to get a cocktail and a little something to eat. And if we weren't there by 5 p.m., which we weren't going to get a space at the bar. We like to sit at the bar and have a drink and eat and have a conversation with the bartenders and the people around. It's a lot of fun. But if you're not there at 5 o'clock sharp on a Friday, you're not getting a seat. So,
And they're not, it's not a huge restaurant.
Logic would tell me a similar scenario over there would work very well.
Michael Buchensky, I know you're residential and you're damn good at what you do, Coach Buchensky. Out of curiosity, back of the napkin, Coach Buchensky, if you can help me on this. What is the debt service payment on a purchase like that? $1.2 million, you're going to probably put 25 to 30% down, right, Michael, on commercial?
Yeah, you're not going to touch much under 20%. They're probably going to want somewhere between 30 and 40, to be honest.
Okay, let's call it 30.
Yeah, so 30% of that is 20% is 200 grand.
30% is 360K.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to sell pretty darn close to $1.2 million. Let's just say it sells for $1.2 million.
Sure.
Okay, for the sake of a talk show. We track 30% out, subtract 30% out. That leaves Michael Buchensky a debt service. That leaves debt of $840, a loan of $840.
I don't know much about restaurant businesses, but the people that I know who run them, they are not cash cows, restaurants.
Oh, no.
And
that's why Wilson Ritchie now, it's genius, is buying the real estate for his restaurants.
It's beyond genius.
So the restaurants, which he's an equity owner in,
Sure.
the Bebedero, a good
Sure.
example, Cafe Frank.
Sure.
He owns the restaurants. The
He
restaurants
owns the dirt.
are paying rent to
Sure.
his real estate company that owns
Sure.
the building.
Sure.
So he's taking
Well, that's just a good business move.
he's taking a marginal salary from the restaurant,
Yeah.
and his real upside is the fact that the restaurant's covering his mortgage payment.
So I won't use the name. We have a mutual friend of ours, and that I helped do the similar thing. Family helped do the similar thing, where what we did is we created a real estate trust, right? So they own the real estate and then an operational side of it, and they do it exactly the way that you outlined.
I mean, that's exactly what we're doing here.
Yeah, sure.
I love CVille, Macklin building.
Yeah. So you own the dirt. You control what's going on inside of it, and you can lease it out. You can develop partners on it, and all
Yeah.
this stuff. But that whatever that number is, you're going to have to multiply that by 2 or 3 times.
Well, yeah, because the outfit. Okay, so let's say, what do you think it would be? Kevin Yancey's alluding to this. Overhead would potentially eat any profits. Do you think
Well, so just looking at the
$4
purchase,
million with the construction? $5 million?
Yeah, I mean, we're get me the crystal ball, right? We don't know, but my suspicion is
You're a smart guy with this stuff.
well, I can tell you.
You're a Class A contractor.
Yeah, I can tell you there was a 4,000 square foot restaurant that I helped a client do.
We're not using names?
We're not using names.
Okay.
Help clients do that. The upfit, that didn't even include any serious modifications to the building and or the parking lot or anything like that, was north of $500,000, considerably north of $500,000. So using those numbers and knowing that there's going to have to be some major upfit to the structure, it's got to be, I think I would do it a multiplier of 3.
Okay, so you're saying, and Michael Buchensky
So let's just
is in the mortgage business.
Let's just use my simple math. Let's forget about real numbers. Let's just call it.
He's got a $4 million extraction for us. You want to hear it?
Yeah. I think $4 million is a little high, but let's use $4 million.
Okay, so he says $4 million.
Yeah.
He's in the business, Buchensky, Coach Buchensky. $4 million.
I think it's closer to 3, but go ahead.
$4 million takes you to $26,612.10 principal and interest per month. $4 million.
Yeah, have them running at 3 because I think that's closer.
Okay.
It's probably somewhere around 18,000, somewhere around.
Michael, at 3, what's that number? He's saying, and Buchensky's utilizing a 7%-ish interest rate because it's commercial. It's not primary residence, much higher.
7% is probably low, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's in the business.
Yeah. Well,
he's residential.
I borrowed enough commercial money. That's generally it's about 2 points over prime. So if you can figure out what prime is and add 2% to it, that's usually a good.
Okay, so
a good
$3 million with 2 points above prime, Coach B.
Yeah.
And Yancey says brewery equipment ain't cheap.
No. So yeah. Well,
that would be the tenant paying for the brewery equipment. It's up to the landlord who purchases the property to outfit it.
Yeah.
And it's called, the landlord would likely allocate some kind of a landlord or tenant allowance, build out allowance.
That's generally how that works. But
Yeah.
my suspicion would be somebody, again, we're just spitballing.
We're
here,
spitballing. It's
right?
Great talk show content.
Right. My suspicion it'd be a partnership coming together of some sort, right? That there's an acquisition end of it, and then there's an operational end of it, and everybody works together on that, and there's a percentage ownership. That's probably how that may or may not go. We don't know, right? We're just spitballing here.
Sake of a talk show.
On this kind of great stuff, and I don't want to start going down some roads that I shouldn't go down on this particular point, because it's not sold yet or even under contract. But the reality of it, look, it's the same thing as if we were looking at Kim's Market, right? It's the same kind of ratio on that. But in this particular case, that's got to be somewhere in that 18 to 20,000 a month nut, I would think.
I mean, at $4 million, you're talking 26G.
Yeah.
He says.
That's a lot of stuff to sell.
Buchansky says 7% is likely a solid number for commercial nowadays, but I can't be 100% sure.
Yeah.
7% on $3 million. Basically $20K a month, $19,959 bucks. John Blair Stanton, welcome to the program. We love you, JB.
So just think about it. In order to have and oh, by the way, that's just your acquisition, your development, your upfit. That's not your food, right? That's not your labor.
Well, we got to highlight though. This is the landlord's debt service. What you're talking about would be the tenant's overhead. Labor, food, brewery equipment,
I understand that. So I'm looking on the back end, right? So under your scenario, right, we're buying, let's not talk about a specific piece of property. We're buying something to go ahead and do this, and we're buying it, and it's costing us $20,000 a month.
We're putting a business model together, you and I.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So somebody take $20,000. Did we say $20,000 a month?
$20,000 for the debt service.
Yeah. So you've got that. That doesn't include your taxes. Doesn't include your insurances. So
principal and interest.
So the bottom line is, and then you want to make a little bit of profit on that. Assuming we're renting it to Jerry, we're probably back up at that $26,000 a month.
Easily.
Nut.
I figured it'd be $25K.
Then
for the landlord.
Then the tenant has to do his up. That
I think you get $10K from the first floor tenant for a restaurant or brewery. That you're at 24. We're calling it $25,000 a month for the landlord.
I want to stop you there for a second. So my $3 million had some upfit for a tenant.
Yeah.
Baked into it. So
Sure.
just that everybody kind of understands that. Yeah. So, but the bottom line is you got $20,000, right? The let's call it $25,000 a month in that,
$10K for the first floor for the brewery or the restaurant a month. I think that's reasonable.
Well, I got to tell you, at $3 million, I'm not building a second story on that thing.
You got to.
Yeah,
At that kind of debt service payment, you have to have second floor
The
studio.
amount of money that's going to cost. Okay, I don't. Then you're closer to $4 million.
Okay. Well, let's just then that'll take it to $30,000 a month.
Okay.
With the interest. So let me ask you this. Let's go through your scenario. And I love doing this with
What
you.
I'm trying to get to is 30,000, 25,000, 20,000. It doesn't really matter. I don't see how you can get the back end of the numbers to work.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out. Yeah. Let's say you do not build a second story. Okay. Let's say you do not. And you just outfit the first floor for a brewery or a restaurant. That's at the $3 million nut. And the $3 million nut for remodeling gets you to $20,000 principal and interest a month.
Got it.
And then we're going to say interest. We're going to say insurance and taxes. It's going to take it to $25K. $25K.
That's breaking even.
That's $25,000 to cover your debt service.
What are you going to charge me?
Dude, the first floor has a market of $10K. No one and their mother is going to.
That's the point I'm making.
Is going to lose $15K a month on this. That's why you have to do the second floor.
Okay.
Or you got a super wealthy guy who has to do a 1031 exchange. He buys this with cash at 1-2, 1031 exchanges it, and then puts another $250K into it, $250,000 debt service payment a month. He's probably not even going to finance that. He's probably going to pay cash for that, and then he's going to rent it out to a restaurant for 10 G's a month.
And all he's doing is parking his cash.
All he's doing is parking his cash. Yeah.
That's just
maybe that's the scenario.
There's 7 possibilities with this particular thing, but if it's a straight up, if you do business modeling according to Hoyle, you're looking at $30,000-$40,000 a month that you're going to have to charge somebody in rent.
And no one's going to pay that.
No.
I mean, the most expensive rent for a restaurant in the city of Charlottesville, you know what it is?
Nope.
Ralph Sampson's Tap Room, Barracks Road Shopping Center.
Really?
island pad, Federal
So
Realty.
that used to be the Zinberger, right?
Zinberger.
Yeah.
That is the most expensive rent in the city of Charlottesville.
I did not know that.
So high that locals would not touch it when Zinberger's closed.
Yeah, so probably somebody brought a bunch of cash to the
So
table.
DC owner.
Yeah, it brought a bunch of cash to the table, floated it for an X number of years. And that very well might be the case here, right? You know, that's seeing the long game on it and has the capital to do it. As we well know, there's a ton of cash out in the market right now.
Oh my God, so much money on the street right now.
Well, and I'm looking at the...
Why would you put it in the stock market?
Well, that's exactly what I'm looking at my left thing. So people start moving money to dirt.
Yeah.
And it just may all click off. But, you know, if you do it as a standalone business model, this does not flush out.
So you're saying your gut is 1031.
You know, I don't know. My gut could be somebody wants to make used tires. I mean, somebody might do that. Don't smile at me. Somebody might do that. I don't want folks to think that that's not a possibility. That's
Okay.
all. You know, it is a possibility. It's also a possibility I won't shave my mustache off on June 1, which is highly unlikely on that end of it. So anyway, that I think I danced that one okay.
You handled it extremely well.
Yeah.
Quickest path to new business actualization. Kim's Market or Fitzgerald Tire? Which one of those two properties, Kim's Market, Cherry Avenue, or Kim's Tire, or Fitzgerald Tire in Belmont, will likely see a new owner or new business in it the fastest?
Oh, I think Kim's for sure.
No way.
No, I apologize. I meant Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald Tire.
I was processing Kim's math in my head as I
You
was
think
speaking.
Fitzgerald Tire for sure?
Oh yeah. It's
Yeah.
just
More affordable price point.
well, it's apples and it's apples and bananas. Are those banana or fruit? I don't think
I
bananas.
think it's apples and oranges.
yeah, apples and oranges.
Apples and bananas.
Me and my, it was close.
Apples and oranges.
It was close. It was a
Apples and bananas works. They're not the same. If apples and oranges works,
is a
apples and
banana
bananas
an
work.
actual fruit though?
Yes, a banana's a fruit.
Is it really?
Judah,
Judah, what defines
a
fruit?
banana is a fruit.
It has to have a seed to be a fruit, right?
Yeah.
Banana has seeds.
Bananas have
Look at that, huh? See, I told you I should have worn those glasses. They would have made me smarter. Right. So then I was right. Apples and bananas, they're both fruit, but they're very different from one another, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really put that in that box. That Kim's Market wants to be something very different. And you know I've got a lot of personal time and money tied up in that and trying to figure out how to make that work. Nobody can seem to make it work at the 3.5 million because somebody is going to have to bring just cash that they're willing to let go, right? Just, you know, like a conscious capitalist type of investor that doesn't want any return or 1% return on their money or some really low return on their money to make that work on that end of it. That being said, you know, this is in this, you know, if the zoning process happens, which we know it will, it's just a matter of when and betting the mustache on it. If somebody had the capital to purchase that now and hold it, eventually when the new zoning comes in, it may or may not be more equitable. Right now, may have my dyslexia king. I believe it's 34 units per acre, and it's roughly 2 acres. Somewhere it's 1.6 or 7 or something like that. So in theory, right now, by right, you can put somewhere between 60 to 80 units in there, and that at 3.5 million, the math just doesn't work.
If you were a betting man, how long till this goes under contract?
Which one?
Fitzgerald.
I think it's an excellent business opportunity. I don't think it's going to stay around very long. Personally, I think it's an excellent opportunity. I think the right series of things will align, and you know, I think at some point in time you're going to see something very different than Fitzgerald there.
Okay, if you were a betting man.
Apparently, I am. My mustache, which Yonna thought I was freaking nuts.
Michael Buchensky adds this: I'm on the board for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We have enough breweries in CVille. What we need is trade, educational, and vocational and financial education for the locally underserved communities. Let's get a trade company into there that does electrical, plumbing skills for kids so they can come out with skills for a job. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now.
Don't get me started. That's literally what I had mapped out and pitched for Kim's Market for years, to increase the density, do an affordable housing project where we would have something with Region 10 or some of the other organizations to put some sort of trade schools down there, it's a food desert, get some sort of like real food there other than a quick mart or something like that. And that end of it, that is absolutely the case. And it's interesting, Michael, I had a conversation with a couple of builders over the last couple of days. And builders are going to start walking back their production because it's not materials they're dealing with right now. I can't find electricians. I can't find plumbers. I can't find tradespeople, but don't get me started on that, Michael.
Kevin Yancey highlights this. More comments coming in fast and furious. Yancey says, remember, it was a service center. Kevin Yancey is the king of Waynesboro.
That's exactly
it was a
right.
Service center before it was a used tire dealership.
That's exactly right.
There are hydraulic systems in the floors that can and will have issues.
Yeah, so whoever buys that and does that, and that's the reason why this number is up. Somebody's going to have to do what's called an environmental phase 1 report, and they're going to have to bring in an environmental engineer, and they're going to have to go in there and take a look at it. But that's the case on Kim's Market. It's definitively the case
For Wright's Junkyard.
Oh, without a doubt.
Wright's Junkyard is...
City Yard is no better.
Yeah, City Yard is no better.
Right. So that is like, we talked about study periods, right, and how this process works. So so if we were going to put something in for Wright's Junkyard, there's going to be a substantial amount of money that's going to have to be spent just to go through these study periods.
Mustache Dan Pettit says, you guys can move into Fitzgerald's Tire and buy it. He also says, okay, Keith is correct in his thinking on moving. Regardless, please honor your mother and father. It's a great relationship Keith Smith has with his parents.
I love my parents to death. If I become half the man my father is, I'll be doing something in my life. Literally.
Could you see anyone buying Fitzgerald Tire and converting to a personal residence?
Yeah, I don't.
Downtown Belmont.
Yeah,
1.5 million. You buy it at 1.2. You put 300, 400 into it. You got
no
something
way.
for 1.5, 1.6.
You still, yeah. I'm squirming here, but the answer is no.
Okay, you're not saying that.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't. Would you want to live there?
Not at this point in my life. Yeah. But at one point in my life, I would have lived there.
I don't know. When I went, and it's interesting.
I got a wife and kid now. When bachelor days, or even young days, when my wife and I just got married, and we were happy hour.
You weren't spending those kind of dollars. When
no, not at that. Yeah, but I mean, divorced bachelor.
Yeah. It's interesting because when we went out on Friday and we came out, the parking was insane down there.
Oh,
it's part of the reason why.
It is insane on Friday night and Saturday night.
Yeah. So for us, we're lucky because our office is at the X Park, right? At the X building, and we walk, right? It's a beautiful night. We take a walk.
That's a good walk.
Yeah, half a mile.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. And we walk in there. Mrs. Smith just ran the 10-miler, so,
She's in shape.
She is, very much so. So, yeah, you just hoof it on over on that end of it. But look, it's interesting. I had a conversation with a mutual friend of ours at the X Park before I came here, and there's some misnomers about that end of it, and the conversation is that the building itself wasn't for sale, and that is not true.
Which one? Of X?
Of X.
Yeah,
right.
It's all for sale.
Yeah, and
all of it's for sale.
And this particular person was in shock when I said it's all for sale.
Yeah.
And then the answer was, what about the people who have their leases? If you and I buy that,
their grandfather.
You just buy the leases.
Yeah.
You're right on that.
And you have to, because I've been in this position. When buying a lot of the second floor of this building,
you inherit the leases.
I inherited the leases. I'm choosing my words carefully here.
Sure.
The folks that I bought, the UVA professor that I bought it from, the leases were, needed a little massaging. How about I leave it like that? They needed a little massaging.
So what kind of professor was he?
He was engineer.
There you go.
Need a little massaging.
There you go.
Okay. The folks were getting fantastic deals.
He doesn't do what we do for a living.
Right. Fantastic deals. Yeah. But to his credit, he was at the back end of his life and just wanted the guaranteed,
Sure.
rent.
It was about cash flow for him.
It's about cash flow for him.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, but for, close to 2 years, I dealt with that, which left a delta with the debt service.
So that's why you need a trusted advisor to help you with these kind of purchases, because you need to understand that you're inheriting this lease.
Absolutely.
And that, this is what your ROI is going to be, this is what your expenses are going to be, and all that kind of great stuff before you come into it. I interrupted you.
No. I mean,
So it was very shocking that I had a conversation with somebody that I thought would actually understand that.
at Ix.
At Ix, yeah.
He thought it was just the dirt.
No, he thought it was everything around it, and the building was not conveying. And I was like, no. If somebody strokes a check, you just have a new landlord. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
And then your current tenants have a little bit of exposure. Kara Bass watching the program. She said
Hey,
she
Kara.
appreciates the convo.
Yeah.
You want to give Kara Bass a plug here?
Not only do I want to give her a plug, she's a freaking rock star.
She has the Fitzgerald Tire listing.
I didn't tell her this. I actually had a chat with her earlier this morning about something else. And I didn't say this, but I think at some point, at the way she's going, I think we're all going to end up working for her at some point. She's
crushing it.
She's a freaking rock star, man.
Crushing it.
And,
Kara Bass.
and gave me some really great pointers about social media. So thank you, Kara, for that pointers.
Kara Bass, put some knowledge in the feed here on Fitzgerald Tire.
Yeah.
She also had the Belmont Market listing that's under contract.
That's exactly
Put some
right.
knowledge in the feed here, Kara Bass, on Belmont Market.
Like I said, we're all going to be working for her at some point.
Give us something to talk about here, some nitty gritty, Kara Bass, please.
So talk about nitty gritty. I'm going to segue over to our favorite subject, the Drewberry Hotel. And I want to ask you a question while Kara's giving some thinking and putting.
Give us something good, Kara Bass. Come on.
Something.
Some juicy, KB.
No.
Some juicy, KB. Come on.
Do not do anything juicy.
Some juicy, KB.
So you have one of these.
Got a magic wand.
What would you do at the Drewberry Hotel? What would you do
If I was the extorting emperor of empty lots?
Let's just say
That I'm the extorting emperor of empty lots.
let's say you have the ability to do something. Forget about the who.
Am I the owner or am I local government?
Ooh, great question. Let's start with the owner. I'll take the local government side.
Well, I really want it to be the local government side.
You take the local government side.
We'll talk about this. It's a great topic.
So hold it. So silver is the local government wand?
All right, you Silver, you be local government. I'll be the owner.
No. You be local government. I'll be owner.
Okay,
I
I'm
play
local
nice
government.
in the sandbox.
Okay. I'm local government.
Kara, run away.
I am, she says, so many details on it.
Yeah.
So many details. Kara, are you alluding to, okay, Kara, can I ask you this question,
Will
Kara
you leave
Bass?
that poor young lady alone?
KB,
please?
can I ask this question? Significant activity on the property. She can answer that. Has there been significant activity?
I would let her make that decision.
She can also answer, have there been offers on the property? She can answer that. Have there been offers on the property, Fitzgerald Tire, Kara Bass?
So I think the first question she's going to answer. The second she cannot.
You can't answer if there's been offers?
No, I think that's not in her best interest to do that, to be honest with you.
If you're an agent,
It's got nothing what you can do, what you can't do, but you're putting her in a bad position asking her that question.
okay, activity then. Fine.
Activity she can answer.
Okay, has there been significant
Yeah, the other
activity?
one, please don't. That's not,
All
not
right,
a good question.
Dewberry Hotel actually gives us some intel right there, KB. Dewberry
So
Hotel.
did we decide on who's who now?
I'm the owner. You're the local government.
Got it.
If I'm the owner, I would.
So I go first. No, go ahead.
If I was the owner, I would do a boutique hotel in the downtown mall.
Yeah.
A boutique hotel.
You would actually fulfill
Oh my God.
your
Dude, it would crush
obligation
it.
and all that stuff.
It would crush it. If it had something of
What about the parking though?
I mean, he had a deal in place
then he screwed it
before
up.
Michael Payne and Dr. Wes Bellamy kiboshed that deal.
You really think it was them?
Lloyd Snook said on the show
Did he really?
that it was
I missed
Payne
that.
that kiboshed the deal.
I missed that.
Mayor Lloyd Snook sat in your chair and said that.
Yeah, it's got to be more than just that.
Well, if I was the extorting emperor of empty lots, I would take that hotel, convert it into a boutique hotel, synonymous of Cork Hotel's luxury and amenities.
It's funny you should say that. We want to go down to Charleston for our wedding anniversary this year, and I was looking at his hotel.
She says significant activity.
Yeah,
On
good.
Fitzgerald Tire.
There you go. Good girl. Congratulations.
Significant activity.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, Carabas. We'll leave it at that. We won't.
Yeah, please.
I would do boutique hotel.
Yeah.
I'd charge $500 a night as my entry point.
Charleston has a 7 in front of it.
Yeah, $700 a night. So $500 would be my entry point.
Sure.
I'm talking midweek.
Sure.
I'd have a rooftop bar on there, a fantastic restaurant on there. I do Quirk Hotel on the downtown mall. The Quirk Hotel is dope.
I've been in it multiple times.
If Quirk Hotel was on the downtown mall, it would be even doper.
I like the location of the
I don't mind the location,
Actually-
but across from the ABC store on West Main,
that's-
versus the downtown mall, you know the downtown mall would be better.
Yeah, yes and no. I think the locations.
And I love the Quirk Hotel.
Yeah, I don't think the location, personally, as one who spends enough time wandering down there and West Main and all this different stuff, because we're empty nesters and we can do this kind of stuff, and we're very blessed and fortunate on that end of it. I got to tell you, from the Quirk Hotel, there's some really awesome places within walking distance to eat.
Oh, dude.
Not that the downtown mall doesn't have that.
I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying the heartbeat of Charlottesville is the downtown mall.
So, Mr. Owner, how come you're not doing that? How come you're not doing this?
Because this is why I think Dewberry's not doing it. It's one of two things. The guy is legitimately being the extorting emperor of empty lots and will not do anything
So we're saying a jerk.
until he's until he's tax incentivized by the jurisdiction, until he gets such tax breaks from the city of Charlottesville and local government, he's not going to do anything and he's just going to leave it hideous.
Yeah.
The second is a cash position or cash flow problem, where in today's market,
Oh, yeah.
interest rates are going through the roof.
Cost of construction.
Cost of construction is through the freaking roof.
And there's another issue that he has that we've talked about this numerous times. That there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that there's some substantial work that has to be redone
Yeah.
in that structure.
We're
Without
talking structural engineering problems with exposure to inclement weather.
Absolutely. It's a tension steel
Yeah.
concrete structure. Concrete is porous. Water is getting into that.
So I think it's either a cash flow problem or he legitimately is the extorting emperor of empty lots and won't do it till he gets a tax break.
So what can I do as a jurisdiction?
If I was in your shoes and you know I'm of the party of common sense, you know I'm the party of a free market guy, and if I align with anything, it would be more libertarian than anything else.
Sure.
And I hate
Regulatory stuff.
regulatory stuff,
Got it.
but the city of Charlottesville, this guy has them by it's a family show. Well, how do I describe it on a family show? Has them by the.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody
what's
can fill in the blank.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. The city has to do something.
Yeah.
They have to do something.
Yeah, but what do? I'm
Give them the
city.
tax breaks and then recoup, get the back end ROI that comes from transit occupancy tax, meals tax, tourist attraction and destination, and then the driver of incremental tax revenue to all the businesses around the Dewberry Hotel and the downtown mall. Give some up front to get more on the back end.
Do we really know that's all he wants?
I mean, he was going to do the deal when, who brokered that deal? Mayor Mike Signer, former Mayor Mike Signer brokered the deal. Parking spaces in the Water Street garage
Sure.
and some tax breaks.
Sure.
And then Dr. Wes Bellaby and Michael Payne
For whatever reason.
muddled up that deal.
Sure.
That's what happened.
Sure. So what are the tools that I might have as a jurisdiction to help move this thing along?
I would say the,
The B word?
what? What's the B word?
Blight? A blight ordinance?
Mayor Lloyd Snook sat in your chair and said, it's not an option.
Yep. I didn't say that it was achievable. I'm just saying what tools that I might have as a jurisdiction
I think the
to go
only
ahead and help
tools you
that.
got are the tax breaks at this point.
Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to watch that show. So what did Mayor Snook say that why that was not?
He said that the extorting emperor of empty lots, John Dewberry, he didn't say extorting emperor.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I said that.
Yeah, got it.
He said John Dewberry is paying his taxes, $65,000 a year.
Sure.
And we can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so part of the reason why you don't want to do a blight ordinance on that end of it, it becomes, it can't be capricious, right? It can't be arbitrary and capricious. You can't just draw a little line around his building and go, hey, there's a blight ordinance. So it has to be more across the board, similar to how we started this conversation about the new zoning ordinances, right? And blight ordinances and all these different rules are going to be all baked into this end of it. So, it becomes a very difficult thing to govern and determine what is and what isn't blight. So from my perspective, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So, but it is a tool. Some jurisdictions have these tools that say, okay, if you are blight or whatever, you can go ahead and do that end of it. But the reality of it is, how many years has that building been there?
A long, long time. Let me see if I do a quick Google search. Daniel McDougal DMAX says, get the owner on the show. I've tried. He does not do interviews.
Yeah.
Yancey says, how has the city not condemned that property and torn it down and billed the owner or seized it? They can't do that. Property owners have rights.
That's exactly right. So this is this whole blight conversation, right? So do you create a citywide ordinance that says, if you are this, that, or the other thing, whatever that might be, then we have the right to come take that. And oh, by the way, jurisdictions hate owning stuff like that. It doesn't want...
Local government doesn't want to be in the ownership of real estate.
It does not want to be in the ownership of real estate. And an example of that on the city yard, one of the conversations I'm having at the Regional Housing Partnership and the Land Trust and different things is to create a land bank where the regional jurisdictions can put something like the city yard into a land bank that has the ability to control all of that and manage it and do all that stuff. So
You'll love this stat. You'll love this stat, and I'll get out of your way here. On March 11th, 2008. March 11th, 2008. So what is that, 14 years ago? March 11, 2008. A groundbreaking ceremony was held on the Landmark Hotel. Remember, it was the Landmark at one time.
I remember
when it was
that.
Halsey Minor and Lee Danielson.
Remember it.
At a cost of $30 million, the initial plan was to have the hotel open by July 2009. $30 million for that hotel.
So is there an option, Mr. Owner, that somebody comes in and buys it?
You're saying John sells it to somebody else? $30 million. God, that hotel, if it was to be finished today, would that number be north of 100?
Oh, sure. I'm probably 3 times that.
Is it 4x'd?
3 to 4x, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be up there. But the reality of it is, so what's going to happen? We're just doing a talk show here, but my thing is, I think as long as he's paying his taxes, and he will make sure he pays his taxes.
Oh, he's always going to pay. You always pay your real estate taxes,
right? Well, as most folks know, that's the quickest way to lose something is don't pay your taxes. It's faster than banks and all this stuff. So he'll keep on paying his taxes. He'll keep on paying whatever he needs to pay to keep that up and running. So the bottom line is, me as a jurisdiction, I've got to come up with some sort of toolbox to help do that. Or do I even care, right?
I mean,
do I even care as a jurisdiction?
Imagine we're trying to fund school reconfiguration. In fact, they're doing a vote today on the budget.
Sure.
Don't we think the city of Charlottesville would have liked to have had the tax revenue associated with transit occupancy tax, meals tax, and then the driver of additional revenue with the businesses around this hotel in the downtown mall?
Sure.
Right now, as it's looking to fund school reconfiguration?
So
they would have begged for this revenue.
Yeah, so I'll leave hotels out of it, the name of particular hotels. And you can get on right now and do an Orbit search for a hotel in Charlottesville, let's say for this weekend. I have folks that visit us from Manhattan coming down here, that they look at what it costs for a hotel in this town.
And they're flabbergasted.
They're flabbergasted.
Yeah.
They don't even pay that in Manhattan. Midtown Manhattan, they don't pay 4 or 5, whatever the number is.
Because we're under-hoteled.
By how many?
A significant amount.
We're roughly 4,000 hotel rooms in our region short.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same scenario as housing.
So
Maybe worse. Hotels.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand a little bit, right? So, but yeah, so it's interesting. I don't, you know, the theory of this particular owner just snubbing its nose at the city because he can do that. Do you think it's that simple?
Yeah.
Really?
I do.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
I think it's the guy
I'm really sorry to hear that.
says, here's my $65,000 check. I ain't doing jack. I got no personal ties to this city. I don't care what people think of me in it. I live in Atlanta. Here's my real estate tax payment. Call me the extorting emperor of empty lots. I could care less. I'm not going to do anything unless you give me tax breaks.
So let me ask you a question. You walk up and down the downtown mall way more than I do. And
Daily, a few times a day.
I do it quite a bit. Do you even see it anymore?
I do.
Really?
I mean, we're real estate guys.
Yeah.
So
you're looking at
I'm looking at
stuff
everything.
all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's much like a subdivision gets built, but by an overhead line or something like that or whatever. Eventually, people stop seeing it. I can tell you, I walk up and down that mall regularly, and I actually don't see it that often. I just don't see it. Right, I'm either moving around or doing whatever, so it's become which is scary, right? Which is something I don't like to even say. It kind of blends into the background, and it's just there, and it is what it is, and we keep on moving. But I would love somebody who actually got a couple of clients in this space. I would love to know what the ROI on that is, right? Does it really make sense to finish that off at 100 million, whatever the number is, to go ahead and do that? Is there a return on investment on that? And I'm not so sure that's some of the reason why he doesn't do that. I don't think he can get the numbers to work with a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if the dude's got some cash flow problems.
Well, at some
You're getting texts over there from viewers and listeners.
I'm getting texts from Kara saying thank you.
Yeah.
So she's a rock star.
She's a rock star.
And I said it jokingly, but I actually kind of mean it. I think at some point we might be all working for her. She's pretty awesome on that stuff. Yeah, so...
I mean, two of the most iconic listings she's had in Belmont. One's under contract.
God bless her. You know, what a rock star. So we talked about Drew Berry. Staples parking lot is a really interesting parcel. Right, right in the right spot, right behind a hotel. You know, are you thinking the whole physical structure of?
I think the future of an office supply store with that kind of overhead is not great.
I don't get it.
Who thinks that Staples office supply is going to stay in that location for a long period of time? I don't. Who buys their office supplies at a Staples or a brick and mortar anymore? You go in to buy them?
Only when
you don't get it delivered to your door through Amazon?
No, only like, oh, darn it, my pen just died, and I run in there
so
and get it.
So it's rare.
When I go in there, it's onesies and twosies. It's just, I need something that I forgot.
Because you're doing it online.
Yeah, we do it online.
And it's delivered to you.
Delivered to us.
So the future of Staples ain't great. That parking lot is ginormous. Who's ever seen that parking lot full? I haven't.
Well, so there's more than Staples there, right? So
yeah, there's Gerhardt's,
which is
phenomenal. We love Gerhardt's.
I may or may not go to Staples to stop and
get some chocolate.
Hold it. I may actually get chocolate and
then pick up a pen.
And pick up a pen and go, honey, I got
the pen.
I got the pen.
I got the pen.
And then she looks at me and goes, yeah, that's why the belly's like that.
What about, is it a Montague Miller that's there?
No, I don't think it's there any longer.
Is it not?
No, it's not there any longer.
Let me Google street map.
I think the sign's still there. I think Gerhardt's expanded into the space, but so it's important to understand that building, right? So that building is connected to what's behind it.
Oh, for sure, the Shebeen,
right?
Now Siren,
correct.
Hunter Wyatt State Farm,
correct. So that's a
Latino grocery behind it.
That's exactly right. So that's connected to it. So clearly. It's a little different. My thinking of it when you brought it up was that parking lot that's chained off that nobody can get to.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
I was talking that whole parking lot.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a major redevelopment, much like the X Park Because you're going to have to do something with that whole structure and that whole.
And
whole
the
thing.
history behind Vinegar Hill is not great.
It's not, and it's one of the things we're working on for our story end of it. And then, the West Main parking lot, area, actually through the Planning District Commission, we've been looking at that, and it's just off the charts expensive and not even close to.
So which one of those has the most upside to you?
So it depends on what you want to do with it. I'm personally passionate about Kim's Market, so I may be skewing my decision on that a little bit. I think, each one of them have their own series of struggles and challenges. I think isn't the junkyard the largest parcel in that list? I believe it is.
The largest parcel on that list, I would bet you,
Is the parking lot?
I would say it's probably Ix. That's 17 and a half acres.
That's right. You're right.
I mean, 17 and a half acres
You're right.
Ix.
You're
What's
right.
Wrights, I think, is 10.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong. I just don't, unless somebody's buying this thing to park cash, this is going to be a long term.
You're saying Ix.
Yeah.
I mean, Kajin and Kootner are not getting any younger. We're in
Yeah.
agreement there.
Well, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Neither one of us are, by the way.
True.
Except for Judah. He seems to get younger by
The young cowards. That's why they call them the young cowards.
Yeah, he seems to get younger every.
Is that not right, Judah? That's why they call you the young cowards.
Every year.
I see the most potential with Ix.
Yeah, it's just each
Got
one.
cash flow already there.
Yeah, but not at that purchase price, though.
Significant cash flow. I mean, what do you
But
think the
there's-
rent roll is on that?
I don't know, but it ain't nowhere near.
I'd
there
say
you
the
go.
rent
That
roll
was
is
good English.
$30K, at least.
Okay, so
I understand it's not close to 84 million.
Yeah.
I mean, we just figured out 4 million, 4 million debt service on 4 million. Michael Buchensky gave us that extrapolation. 4 million debt service on a 30-year with
Roughly.
7-year rate is what? What was it, 20?
yeah, roughly 30 grand.
25K?
26,000.
Yeah, 26,000.
Yeah.
So he's asking 84 million.
Yeah. So I think, if we had a ton of cash, right, that we wanted to do something with, and we had $100 million worth of cash to do something with, right, after this show, I'd be trying to talk you into buying that
Ix.
and just sitting tight on it.
Yeah.
If I had $100 million cash, now this is just me personally, right? Because the vision I have for that thing would be freaking awesome. But if I had $100 million cash that I needed to park somewhere that I didn't care about, that I wanted to write a check to that, and Mrs. Smith, no, I'm not doing this, right? Because there was a time when I used to do stuff like this, and I would buy it. I would keep the rent rolls the way they are. I would sit tight and wait until mid-23 and see what happens.
Why 23?
Well, because once the new zoning ordinances come in and find out
Future
what
land use map.
find out what they're
Upzoning.
find out what they actually turn this. This was Get Smith in Trouble Day.
No,
today.
no, you handled it well. There's been much worse Get Smith in Trouble days. than
Oh,
this.
definitely.
Yeah.
I know
This
that.
was Smith was on point day.
That-
Super engaged.
And the reason I know that if Smith is getting into trouble,
Your phone ain't blowing up with Yonna and the other folks saying.
my supervising
Yeah.
broker
It's not saying zip
AK.
it, zip it. Yeah, because we've seen that before.
We've seen that before.
Yeah. We've seen that
Dial
before.
it back, Smith. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
So I mean, if we had out of these 7, if I had $100 million cash, right, I'd buy that tomorrow, and I just would park it and sit it.
What do you think the purchase price is?
What it'll sell for?
Expart. They're asking 84.
Yeah,
4.8 an acre.
yeah. I used to think I knew this stuff for a while.
You know it
No,
as well as anyone.
There was a sale that
17 and a half acres, 4.8 an acre.
There was a sale that happened a couple of years ago on Grady that
Which one?
it was the old, it was built in the 20s, I think the 20s, the old apartment complex just before you get to where the oh, come on, Smith. Grady Avenue, you go down Grady Avenue, you pass Dairy Market going towards the university on the right-hand side, big columns in front of it. It was a multiple unit apartment complex.
Not Oxford Hills.
The name of it escapes me.
Does
but
anyone know that? What
it
he's
was
talking about?
It was a 3-story structure, has columns around it. It was built in the 20s or the 30s or something like that, and that end of it. And it was on the market for student housing. And I actually had a client. And we crunched numbers like crazy and came up to about 8 million. It sold for nearly double that. So.
And now what's it worth?
Who knows? I don't think it's worth double that, to be honest with you, but that's just my opinion. But somebody who bought that, ultimately at the time, had some cash to park and turned it into it. So there's that in the marketplace that, we can't, we can look at it from analysis and all that stuff. But if I got $100 million that I need to park somewhere because I don't want to pay 50% of it to the government.
You do that.
I do that all day long.
Yeah.
Twice on Sundays.
Twice on Sundays.
3 times on Sundays.
4 times on Mondays.
4 times on Monday.
5 times on
But if you
Tuesdays.
asked me how much cash I had in my wallet, it'd be a hard time to put $5 together.
No.
Just saying.
Stop it.
No, Yonna gives me an allowance every morning.
Sorry.
She does, actually.
Smart lady.
She does, yeah.
Smart lady, that Yonna Smith.
So which one would you buy?
I mean,
If you had
I'd buy X-Spark.
Yeah.
Unlimited money.
Yeah.
So much potential.
If you had the money, if you had the operating,
100 million?
and you could sit tight and wait, that's
I'd
the
buy
one.
X-Park.
That's the one to buy.
I mean, that's a gold mine.
2 reasons, by the way, of everything that's on here. That's the only one that's available for sale.
Is that right?
Well, I know West Main is.
Kim's Market's for sale?
Well, we just talked about it's under contract.
Under study.
So it's under contract and a study. So you can't walk in there right now with a $3.5 million.
Kajean's got West Main Street parking lot for sale.
It's not publicly out
Yeah.
there and all that stuff, but if for the right number, you can do
Yeah,
that.
Kajean's got that for sale.
And I'll tell you what, that number that he's got it for sale is per square.
Pretty
inch,
damn high.
Per square inch.
Yeah.
Is pretty expensive.
Pretty high. Pretty high.
So
Right-
X Park would be the, and it's really a funny thing. I have mixed emotions about it. I actually our office has been there for going on 2 years now.
X?
Yeah, and
You love it.
oh, absolutely love
Yeah,
it.
I know you do.
I have not gone to the farmer's market for the first time until Saturday.
What?
Can you believe that?
Why is that?
Does that make me an awful person?
That doesn't make you an awful person.
No,
Because you don't wake up. You wake up early.
Oh, I'm up at
Yeah.
0:30, but on Saturday mornings, I generally stay away from it because of the parking and all that stuff, and we got other things to do. But I had a Zoom meeting I needed to do early in the morning, and I wanted to use the office's Ting because
Ting's the best.
we don't have Ting where I live.
Yeah, Ting's the best.
And so this was a multiple thing. So I was hungry, and I said, "Yeah, let me go grab some breakfast." And there, it was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
the
it's
stuff
popping.
that's there, freaking awesome. Picked
Today-
up some tortellini, picked up some ravioli for my parents for dinner on.
You went to Mona Lisa.
Well, I went to Mona Lisa, but I picked up some other stuff out of there for the dinner. Picked up some fresh herbs and stuff like that to make my sauce.
You were on point today.
Oh, look at this.
You were on point today.
Just I enjoy. I say this every show. I just enjoy you and I going at it. To be honest with you,
I think it's great.
so I just have a lot of fun.
We're excited to show you the new website too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to taking a look at that stuff, and hopefully tomorrow we'll have an announcement for a new sponsor.
New partner.
New partner, thank you. That's
Yeah.
a better choice of words.
New
sure.
partner for
Look
Real
at that.
Talk.
Look at that. The word
Real
guy.
Talk growing and booming.
We're growing. And
New partner for Real Talk. I'm very excited about that partnership, and we're very excited to announce a new website.
new
for Real
stuff
Talk.
all the way across the board.
Real Talk, boom.
New stuff.
Real
What was
Talk.
that? Real Talk with what?
Real Talk with Keith Smith. Remember the idea in the beginning?
Yes,
Some years ago.
God, I've got my actual wife.
This
God
is
love-
where he compares me to Yonna.
Yeah.
And it's a true compliment to be compared to that
It is
wonderful
an
woman.
absolute compliment.
You're better 7/8.
But you are my show
It's
wife.
kind of like a zing.
You are
to
my
Jerry
show
right
wife.
There.
You
He's
are my
talking
show
to a work
wife.
wife over here.
Dude, how do you do this every day?
He drinks. He drinks. why
Did you realize what he just said about you, Judah?
that's why the
Just
fridge
saying.
is stocked with 3 notched over there.
So let's look at over there. Is it Dow up? Dow's in the green, isn't it?
Oh, today we're up. For the year, it's no bueno, Chico.
Yeah.
Double digits.
That's time to buy property.
Oh, dude, it's no question you're seeing equities investors putting their money into real estate.
I just got to look over the top of the glasses. I think he's got a show to do. You got another show to do.
I know he does. I know he does.
Hey man,
We both
thank
do.
you. Enjoy the hell out of this. Always do. Thank you for this. And tomorrow will be Scott Morris. I'm looking forward to that.
Scott Mortgage.
Mortgage Morris. Thank you.
On Real Talk, presented by Yes Realty Partners. Judah Wickauer, you crushed it. Gracias, amigo. Gracias, amigo.
Thank you. And then Friday, we're
Nat
gonna,
Galloway, Neil Williamson.
that's going to be fun. It's always fun.
dynamite.
That's all. I would say on
Make sure you have coffee that day.
me.
All of us.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, we just watch them.
Good boy. Yes. Anything else I have to do, honey?
No, that's it.
That's it, honey.
You did a hell of a job.
Anything else? Coffee? Would you like some breakfast, maybe?
No, we don't need breakfast.
I can go get some ham and eggs. I can go to Bodo's and pick some stuff up. Whatever you want,
No,
Jerry.
the coffee's just good.
Just coffee, right?
Just coffee's
Okay,
good.
all right.
Thank
all
you,
right.
thank you.
Judah, would you like something? I'm taking orders for tomorrow.
Coffee's good, right?
No. He's thinking too much. Let's do another show.
Yeah, I got to do it on the show. Judah Wickauer, Jerry Miller, Keith Smith, Real Talk with Keith Smith on the I Love CVille
Thank you,
Network.
guys.
The I Love CVille show is up in 39 minutes, guys. I take that back. 49 minutes. 49 minutes, guys.
39,
We'll see
49.
We'll see you
Who's
very
counting?
shortly. Take care.
Thanks, Jerry. That was fun. Give me back my wand so I